Welcome, dear listener, to the Right Here, Right Queer podcast. This is Noah Hawthorne, and today I'm joined by Jamie and Andy from Rainbow Crate. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on. I've been really excited about this. For listeners who may not know, what is Rainbow Crate?
Rainbow Crate is a queer book box. Every month we do 2 special edition books, and they can be kind of anything from fantasy to contemporary to horror. We do have more of a focus on fantasy, I would say, but no genre is a never for us. And then besides our monthly box, we do a quarterly Rainbow After Dark, which is our spicy and darker subscription.
And what are your roles? What do you do, Andy?
My main role is I'm the social media director, so I do all of the posting and graphics and stuff for social media, and then I do a lot of other back-end stuff. So I am part of the reader team. I've been doing some maintenance on the website and some other things that I can't remember now, but it's just a bunch of random things that don't really have a title.
Andy gets to pick their own title.
Awesome. And what about you, Jamie?
I am half of the owners for Rainbow Crate. The other owner is Danielle, and Danielle handles a lot of the logistics of our boxes and our books, and I handle mostly the artistic side of things and the sales taxes. I don't know how that ended up being this way. Filing the sales taxes. I always call myself the creative director, I guess is the best word for it.
So, all the book recommendation lists and all that stuff, that's mostly Andy then, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys all
Yeah.
work to compile those rec lists and just throw them at Andy, or do you have to search for them all yourself?
Andy throws them at themselves.
Yeah.
It used to be more of a team effort, but lately it got pretty busy, so Andy's really stepped up there.
Yeah, I used to do a little bit more stuff that was a little more collab. So I think I've done a couple lists where I would have the staff give me 5 of your favorite books or 5 books with this theme or something. But now it's gotten to such a point that I make these lists all the time. So it's really fast for me to just find however many books I'm going to put on there and just make it.
Yeah, and I don't want to bog down that process for you. That's definitely the reason.
So, do you have to run stuff by Jamie and Danielle, or you just kind of have free reign?
Not anymore. Mostly it's free reign because I've been doing this for 3 years now. In the beginning, it was a bit more kind of well, how do we want, things to look? And right now, still, Danielle and I do work pretty closely on our special edition sets and stuff like that, and any sales that we run. So since she does all the logistics, how she usually sets the prices for things and whatnot.
Andy has been doing this so long, they have our complete trust in everything. So
I do typically send our big graphics, so the themes that we do and any special edition sets, we send it to the staff just for an extra typo or spacing or this is ugly, I don't like it kind of feedback thing.
every once in a while, we get that.
But we've gotten to such a point where all of the posts that we do from month to month and quarter to quarter are pretty standardized, and so it's really more of a I need to change the background on something or I need to update the cover. So it's not really any big graphic is completely changing. I think if we did that, then it would probably go back to Jamie and me and maybe Danielle a little bit, and then we would come up with something together.
Yeah, if it was some kind of, a completely new concept, then I think we would collab on it.
It sounds like you're a pretty well-oiled machine. What was it like in the beginning? How old is Rainbow Crate?
So Rainbow Crate is 6 years old now.
Yeah.
As of this month, for boxes going out. It technically started in January of 2020, I think. But when boxes started going out was June.
I think we filed the business paperwork in January, but we started in, I think, end of November, early December of 2019. Me and Danielle kind of conceptualizing stuff. And then we started promotion and the business stuff in 2020.
I started doing social media in 2023, late January, early February. So it was much different before then. I can't speak to anything before that time period.
Yeah, it was all me before then.
Over the past 3 years, it's definitely changed a lot. We post way more. Since I started, we've added social media platforms. So now there's Blue Sky and Threads. We still are on some of the older ones just because we don't want to lose the audience who's still there.
Right.
How much has it changed for you, Jamie? You've been there since the beginning. I'm sure it's changed quite a bit.
In the beginning, I was working in the accreditation section of a college or a university. And so I was trying to juggle so much at the same time. I was working all day, every day. And I also did all the artwork. So, like, we used to do like little fandom items and stuff before, and it wasn't just books. And so I would design every single one of them. And it sounds like a lot, but it's even more work than that. Like, it was just constant. Like, I had time for nothing. I didn't have a life. It was totally worth it in the end, but it was also like it was a couple years of like just constant work. So yeah, it's changed a lot. Like now I still work a lot, but I have a lot more, time to do anything else. I don't work at the college anymore, so that's good. And we have a lot of really great employees who can handle different tasks that I used to have to do on my own.
I will say we are still like a very small company. I think people assume that we're much bigger than we are because like we do have a quite large social media presence, but there's only 5 of us, and then we just recently added on an hourly 6th staff member. So in the beginning too, it was only Jamie and Danielle. So it's just the 2 of them doing everything. And then Landis joined soon after that. And then me and Jenny joined in like November 2022. So it's been a very slow growth of staff.
And you three were all around as like reps and things like that beforehand, which is how, when it came time that we were able to hire people to do other things, we went for the people that we were already working with, that we knew were trustworthy and, had a lot of passion for the same thing as us. Because we're, even now, we are still very small, like Andy said. We don't have, any full-time staff at all other than me and Danielle. And like this tiny little team has to handles everything for the business. I mean, above that, we also have like other businesses we've contracted with, like our printer and our warehouse that does all of our shipping. So we don't handle any of that ourselves. We just do all the promotion, design work, logistics, and everything.
It takes a village and then some.
Yeah.
It really does, and I don't want to be that person who says, oh, we're a family. And then, they're only saying that to take advantage of their employees. But like, no, to me anyways, it feels like a little family. I've known all of my employees for 5-6 years, and like we've been through a lot, and they have grown the business alongside of us. So it kind of feels like it's all of our, passion project.
Yeah.
And, for what it's worth, we definitely try to share the abundance when there is abundance. I mean, we're a small business, so there isn't a lot of abundance monetarily. But when there is, we definitely try to spread that out because, like, without everybody working so hard over the years, like, this wouldn't exist,
So you're saying is you don't want to be a megacorp where at the top they're, standing on the bodies of their employees.
I don't need any more than I need, if that makes sense. I would rather that everybody gets paid equally and fairly.
None of us is trying to become a billionaire through Rainbow Crate.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind $1 million or something here and there, but like, I'm not going to take $1 billion. If we had $1 billion somehow by some miracle, we would have a bunch of multimillionaires in this company, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I would spread that back out anyways to the community because no.
Well, that was be my next thing is you do a lot in the community. And to me, it very much feels like you're a part of the bookish community and when you work with indie authors and you work with indie artists, you don't use AI or anything like that. And I think that speaks volumes. I think that's one of the things that probably, in my opinion, makes you successful is you're in the community part of it.
Thank you. That's not by accident, All of us are very passionate readers and we're very passionate about queer books, the entire staff. So,
Yeah. We also branched out kind of into conventions recently. So we've actually been able to like meet authors and some artists and readers and people who like get our box regularly. So that's been really cool. And
yeah.
even talked to like some publishers most recently at BookCon, which was wild. But yeah, it's like we definitely don't want to become like somebody who isn't part of the community, because like without like all the indie authors and the other authors who write these books and make these stories, like we would not be a company.
Yeah. And like, our whole staff is queer. So like we also have like an invested interest in this. We're all readers, we're all queer readers. So, I think our real goal is to just get good queer books out to as many people in the world as we can. I'm not going to name any big companies or anything because I don't actually know any of the people at the top of these places, but like we aren't that like a businessman hedge fund like that just owns something and like doesn't have any interest or care about what they're making or what they're doing. Like our goal is not to earn money. That's like the nice byproduct of it, I guess.
It keeps you going.
No, we do it because we like it and because we believe in it. We also believe in indie authors and authors that haven't even had a chance before, Unpublished authors. We've done some unpublished authors in our anthologies, like given them their first publishing credit. We haven't ever really talked about this in amongst ourselves, but I personally believe that like just because somebody doesn't have something like professionally published, including like their own indie books, doesn't mean they're not good. I think anybody could be good. It's all about just the story and getting queer stories out there for everyone to read.
I agree, and you're getting ready to gear up to launch your third one and accepting submissions for the fourth anthology.
Yeah.
And as someone who was in one of those, I was nice to be included along like some bigger names, but also there was people that I never heard of or didn't read before, and I loved it. I loved their work and it introduced me to them, so I thought that that was really cool.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. One of those authors was actually somebody I found through their fan fiction, and I personally approached them and I said, I need you to submit a story to us if you're interested. And their story was amazing and it made it through our like selection process. So I was so happy about that.
What is it like organizing the anthologies? I mean, obviously you must enjoy it if you're getting ready to do number 4.
It was a bit chaotic. So I was more involved in the third one. I was not as involved in the first and second. Since the first and second one, I believe Danielle and Jamie mostly just approached authors who they wanted to include, and like it wasn't like an open submissions thing. But so for the third one, which is our spring one, that one, it was much more in depth of making a page on the website for it, scheduling a announcement several months in advance that we were going to be doing it, posting it, that submissions were open. And then Danielle did a lot of the back end work of going through all the submissions and kind of sorting them. So she had asked me, and I believe all the other staff, like if there was anything in particular they wanted to read or didn't want to read. And I don't have any content warnings that I need to be aware of, so I can read anything. So I was just like, give me whatever. And so she kind of just divided up all the submissions once the period had ended. And then we had like 2 months to read them all. And I'm really bad at reading with my eyes, so it was a bit of a struggle. But like once I actually like got down and sat down to like read, I did really enjoy quite a few of the submissions that we had received. And it was really hard to like narrow it down and be like,
Yeah.
this one, this is my top 3 or my top 4.
For our first anthology, me and Danielle were kind of like brainstorming on something special we could do for our like anniversary box / pride box. We wanted something special for that month. So we said, what about, our second, like original publication that's never been published in any form anywhere, not even online. So we said, okay, well, maybe a whole book is, a lot more work than we have time for right now, but maybe we can do short stories, like an anthology. So, we came up with the concept and went for that, but we didn't really have time to do an open call since logistically it takes a lot more time to go through the stories and weed them down than it does, if we just ask people. And we've tried to get a good mix of different styles of authors. It's interesting because there's a lot more thought than you would think that goes into planning our anthologies, because we not only want like different, I don't think levels is the right word, but like different publishing credits of authors. Like we want, the authors who have done very popular mainstream books all the way down to, somebody who has published nothing. we want to give everybody a chance. And then, but we also have to take into account, or we do take into account that, we want a wide array of genders and like for the authors and their representation that they're writing both. And we want people from different races and different backgrounds and, different types of stories so that it's not all like whatever is the most popular kind of story out there. And then we want different genres of writing as well. So like it's a big balancing act to do that because we are not just like a gay book box or whatever. Like we're trying to give exposure to a lot of different kinds of queer stories, I guess you could say. And then it was also like, okay, now what kind of theme can we put together that's like open enough that we'll let everybody kind of have something interesting to tell within it. Is like not too restrictive. So, we just ended up going with very basic, what does summer mean to you, etc. themes, because we felt like everybody's going to have something to say about that, no matter who you are or where you're from or what your experiences are. So,
Well, even that changes because summer for the northern hemisphere is a bit different than summer from the southern hemisphere.
yep, that was also something that we were thinking about, which is cool. Well, technically their summer is, what we in the northern hemisphere would, call our winter months, but I didn't want to necessarily even restrict it like that, like if they want to write about the August in Australia and it's all cold and snowy, go for it. Totally fine with, I am all for whatever someone has to say.
You have a lot of like frequently asked questions on your website, like how do you pick submissions, things like that. So I didn't want to ask anything that's already kind of answered on there, but I am curious, especially now that you've done so many books, is it more difficult or easier to pick new titles?
It's more difficult because we've started really advertising our submissions form, and there are so many submissions in there. It's hard to even like start to go through it because of just the volume that there is.
Yeah.
But we do have somebody who's been like organizing them for us, so we're trying, then we can like kind of go through and be like, so we think we have, a book for this theme, and then we can go see if anybody else has submitted something that is also that like theme or trope or whatnot. And then potentially match things that way in the hopes that that might make it a little easier than just like, doing an internet search for queer books with XYZ.
Starting from the theme and working back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what we've done a lot of. Is like the good lists and then kind of being like, does this actually fit what we're looking for? Maybe.
Yeah. Well, what we often do is we find a book, somebody on staff says, "Oh, let's consider this book right here. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it," or, something like that. Then we try to find, because there are 2 books in our box, we tried to find another book that matches that thematically.
How far out is your calendar done up with themes?
So
I just heard
Oh boy.
a little cry.
Yeah.
through next April, I believe.
Yeah.
So the thing is that we usually kind of pick like a theme, and the theme is more of a general idea until we actually are ready to submit the books to our printer, which is about 6 months before they actually ship out from us. So like the theme is usually kind of like a little more of an idea until it's time to submit. So like, for example, like the May box that we just did, which was Knights in Shining Armor. So the theme idea for that one was just knights.
Yeah.
And we didn't actually nail down what like the words were until Jamie made the theme art for it. So we usually have like an idea of what we think the theme will be, and then like the exact phrasing of it might change until we've finalized everything, and then it's kind of set in stone.
Yeah. When I make the theme art for the theme, that's when it's done. Until then, it could, the words can change a bit here and there.
So you're basically always working a year ahead of time.
Or more. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you take into account like the actual contractual work involved in setting things up, it can be a year out or more. As far as like designing the books, all of the artwork, all the interior stuff, that works usually a minimum of like 4 to 5 months out. Like it begins before that, but it has to be finalized by then because we need enough time for the printer to print everything and ship it out to us also.
So right now, for sure, we have up to April 2027 planned. We have, I believe, asked for a book for May, and we have like a potential match, and we're waiting to hear back. And then I think the rest of the months for 27, we have like a book picked, and we haven't quite matched it yet, so they're kind of in progress. And then I think we just finished planning May 2027 rad. So we've almost gone through all of 2027, but not quite yet. Soon though.
When it comes to like our collaborations with the larger publishers, that can go well over a year. Like we have some that are coming this year that have been in the works for over a year at least.
Do you think it's more difficult to work with TradPub because of that?
Yes. Oh, yes.
The timing is so hard.
Yeah. It depends on the publisher, of course, but they're very, I mean, rightfully so. They are very protective of anything that goes out attached to their name.
Yeah.
But what that logistically means is it takes a long time for approvals to go back and forth. It's not our small team. We're working with a much larger team than, and that often has to go through multiple people in their, in their business as well. So yeah, it can definitely take a long time to do that.
Yeah. Especially with the trad pub, a lot of times they don't want us to have direct contact with the author, which is okay. But then it just takes like, an extra couple days to hear back on things. So you like really have to plan like way ahead of time. And that's what we're kind of dealing with right now so it's almost ready, but just not quite yet. So soon? Question mark?
It's a lot of like back and forth through 3 tiers removed kind of a situation.
It was like the complete opposite when I did it with you all. Like it was just so like
Yeah,
close, and I loved that because it felt like you really wanted to get it right.
we do.
And I know someone else, not to say names, but I've been in the loop, and she is so happy with the experience and just how much she's been able to be involved and certain ideas that you guys have been able to collaborate and make happen. To me, I can't even imagine not having any involvement in it.
It depends on the person, really, like the author.
We really do love though when like the author has like either like a very set idea of what they want or like a set of artists or styles or something. Because if they have like a general idea even, it makes it much easier to be like, okay, well we've worked with like, this and this artist who do that style. What do you think about them? There have been some publishers or like small presses even where they're like, you can't talk to the author and we also won't give you art ideas, so you just have to do it all yourself, which is fine and we'll figure it out.
Sure.
But like we do really want to make like essentially a dream edition for the author. So like we want them to be happy with the product that they're getting at the end.
Yeah, and of course there are a lot of times when snags happen. Like we are working on a book right now where we lost the dust jacket artist very suddenly, and that kind of put us in a time crunch because how do we get another artist that, fits the parameters we're looking for and can do good art in the amount of time that we have left over? But we still try. We appreciate when people are flexible, but we still try to work within that and get like that dream special edition they've been hoping for. And that our readers want as well, too.
So, in addition to the regular subscription box, there's the Rainbow After Dark, which you've mentioned a couple of times now. How did that come about? Was it just like we can't keep narrowing it down to one box, or was there just such a demand for the more darker, spicier books?
So Jamie can answer after me, but from what I remember is I felt like when we had started moving into the like special edition market, our box was like more YA, new adult, a little bit adult mix, but definitely not spicy things. And I think it was around that time, 2022, 2023, we started seeing, tons more marketing for spicy books, for steamy books, for all these kinds of things. And like, we're just really seeing that readers wanted something like that. And that's kind of how I saw Rad come together.
You said it all. I don't need to say anything.
Do you think there's more of a demand for one or the other, or are they kind of like about the same?
It's kind of about the same, I would say, right now.
Yeah.
It really fluctuates, especially the Rainbow Crate. So, like, the monthly one really fluctuates month to month based off the books that are in it. I would say that Rainbow After Dark is probably a bit more consistent, like quarter to quarter. But with like Rainbow Crate, even if we don't always have the same number of subscribers who have renewed, we typically do see like an increase in new subscriptions or one-time boxes. So that, the numbers for both of them that go out are roughly the same.
I think this is a TikTok thing that came about because of TikTok, like the whole spicy reader thing. There have always been spicy books, obviously, like Harlequin romances, that kind of thing, but like it really kind of exploded on TikTok with a bunch of different influencers talking about, their favorite spicy books. And, that becoming somewhat less taboo of a topic to want to talk about the spicy books that you read. After that, I think we noticed, a lot more demand, people asking us, can we get more sexy books, So it took us a while, but we eventually did decide to try and bring those out as well. Like, we try to keep the ones in Rad much, much, much like above the level that you would usually find in like a regular, traditionally published like adult novel. Might have one or two, a couple scenes here and there, but like we try to go spicier than that, specifically geared towards people who want specifically spicy books.
Yeah. There were a couple books that we've rated as a 4 out of 5, and like now that they're out, I'm like, that should have been a 5 out of 5.
It's also gone the other way around too. In the beginning, we were a little more conservative, thinking, okay, this book is pretty sexy. But then, like, as we got deeper into the spicy book realm ourselves, then we're like, oh, that actually isn't that racy compared to what else is out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of smut out there. And I'm happy that we've moved towards more smutty books for Rad. And then in Rainbow Crate, we've also loosened it up a little bit. We do try to include books that are more spicy sometimes. Not all the time, because it's supposed to be a mix. It is for adults, but it's supposed to be a mix. Don't go over the top, and have like 35 sex scenes or something. And Rad, yes, I want that book in there for sure. But Rainbow Crate, definitely more of like a mainstream.
Sometimes there's actually like a couple months in a row where we'll have both books in the box, no spice. And then we'll be like, oh, whoops. Because I know it's happened a couple times this year, but like the books are so good. I'm like, I wasn't not gonna pick this. Like, I do think since we started Rad, so that launched in 2023 in August. So it went on sale like June-ish. I think there's been way more queer spicy books that have been published since then. So like the pool that we pull from has only grown since we started it. So it's like now we can really kind of be a little more, we want something super spicy.
Yeah.
You need a third box now.
The ultimate. So it's not just after dark, it's after the witching hour or something like that.
Yeah.
After midnight.
I don't know how I would fit another box into the schedule, so how about no?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's too much work for our small team. We'd have to expand. And also, I think that, I don't know, I think we have enough for the moment. I would personally like to expand into more original work publishing, like more of a traditional publishing model, in addition to our boxes and the special editions we do there too. I'd like to really do more first time publishing. Like, we've only done that once, I think, and that was with Katie Edwards.
Oh, I love those editions.
Oh, thank you. They were fun. We worked really closely with him on those too. We did
The Eidolon.
Eidolon. Yeah.
I had a copy of that. Like, we found like 2 or 3 left in the packing center, and Danielle sent them to me, so I brought it to the book con that he was at in Minnesota last year. And he was like, "Oh my God, I didn't think you had any more." And I was like, "This is like the last copy." And somebody came and bought it, and he signed it for them, so it was really fun.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's awesome. I talked to him and we talked a little bit about Rainbow Crate, and that's one of the things he really enjoyed was working closely because he didn't really have that opportunity with his publisher.
Yeah, I know Danielle keeps in contact with him pretty regularly and seeing like, what's kind of going on with him. Is the next Eidolon book ready, or
Yeah.
other publishing circumstances. So we probably will hopefully revisit at least
Oh,
some
we
of these
will.
books at some point. It's just kind of more of a matter of time and when they're ready. So
I mean, I would like to eventually like redo all of the special editions we did for him. And not to say that like our old ones weren't good enough. They were great. But like I would like to do a whole cohesive like new design for everything going forward. I think that would be so fun.
Oh gosh, don't even tease me like that.
I believe the set that we did, so they were a hardcover set, but all they had was a reversible dust jacket. So there wasn't any art on like the hard case or the end papers. No printed edges, but it was still pretty cool.
Yeah, we had to work with the original rights holder publishers for that one, and they were pretty strict about what they would allow us to do. So we may have some news about that coming at some point in the future. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
I'm not promising anything, but there may be something.
Nothing concrete yet, but
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited.
we'll never say never. So
Yeah. No, we've actually talked about some things. I just can't say what or where that might be in the planning process.
My heart just started racing.
Yay.
Because you cannot find those original copies
Oh
anywhere. And like
no.
all I got was the Eidolon. And I love it, but like I loved those editions. So maybe it was a sign that I didn't get those in time. Because, we'll see.
But maybe at some point there will be some more to choose from.
So you kind of touched on a big dream that you have, being able to do kind of like a publish new original works. What do you think, Andy?
I mean, I think that would be cool. I think we need another social media person to do that though.
Yeah.
But like what are your big dreams for Rainbow Crate?
I mean, mine would be to get a packing center in Europe because I think then we would really be able to, get more international customers. I know international shipping is always an issue. And we did change our courier service recently-ish, like within the last year. So it's gotten much cheaper for us to send things internationally. But I know with like the EU and the UK and like GPSR rules and regulations, like, there's always some import tax or custom change or whatnot, like on the horizon. So I think getting a packing center in Europe or the UK, one of the two, depending on which would be better customs wise, that would be really nice. And then we could hopefully send more stuff like internationally as well.
You're so practical.
Yeah. Hopefully it would also not take as long.
For sure.
I was going to ask what your favorite part of the job is, but it sounds like the logistics might be your most difficult.
Definitely the most difficult because there's just so many moving parts because like there's not only us, there's like the packing center and then the printer, and Danielle lives internationally now and she is the main contact person for both of those things. So for her and the printer it kind of works out because they're mostly on the same time zone, but her and our packing center are on like completely opposite time zones. So like that is definitely a struggle. My favorite part, I do think it's probably like when the authors usually receive their copy and like talk about it or talk to us about it, like after they've gotten it, because they're all so excited and like thankful. And like anytime I've seen myself mentioned like in a post that the author has made, I'm just like, oh, cry.
No.
Aw.
What about you, Jamie? Favorite part?
I think it's the joy of being able to work closely with authors and see their dreams come to life. We work with a lot of different authors every single month. So, we have a lot of different personalities, and some authors do want to be completely hands off. They say, I don't care. Just, we trust you. So go with it, just do what you want, and then on the other hand, there are authors who are very involved down to the very last detail and have a lot to say. And I love all of them. I just want to make people happy. I just want to make people happy and make beautiful, beautiful books for them and get those books out. I love seeing people post about the books they receive as well, like readers. I just love seeing people excited to hold like fancy queer books in their hands because, like, we deserve fancy, pretty books too,
Absolutely.
as queer readers. And that just makes me so happy to see like that. I mean, that's been, the main reason for the box existing, is just to get more pretty queer editions out there. So it's just so satisfying to see it all come together and people hold the finished books in their hand. And also, like, as a designer, we are not working with a physical product when we're designing it. We are working with files, digital things, and like vectors that indicate where foiling is supposed to go, that kind of thing. So it's so nice and so satisfying to see the finished product that shines and sparkles, the way we designed.
The first time I think we did like an iridescent or
Yes.
holographic foil, I got that book and I was like, wow, this is so shiny.
I love foiling.
You have your own unboxing.
Oh yeah, I love like being able to hold those in my hands and just see everything like shiny and pretty and just like gorgeous. Yeah, that's my favorite thing. It's so great.
I would add on to mine. So since I started doing book conventions, the book conventions have been a major highlight. They're super busy usually, but it's a lot of fun, especially because I think I'm probably one of the most extroverted people on our team. So I'm like, people, sign me up.
I went to our first convention with Andy, and let's just say I was very uncomfortable. I didn't even want. And before I got there, I was like, oh yeah, I got this. And then once I got there, I was like, I just want to go back to my hotel and hide. So Andy did a lot of it. I'm so glad that they enjoy it because I love meeting new people, but it gets a lot. It takes all my energy out, and I feel very tired. So like, I'm better in small groups.
I'm with you there. Well, without being, spoiling anything, I don't want you to say anything you can't say, but like, what's next for Rainbow Crate? You've got anthologies, you've got your boxes, you've got your special editions. Is there anything big coming up next for you guys?
We've already announced all the ones for 2026, so those are all pretty set in stone. It's mostly just a matter of when. So we have like the Nico D'Angelo set coming, we have the Game Changer set coming, Uncharted sequels, and then the Oracles of Senders. I believe the next one's going to be Nico in maybe July. We're still waiting on final approval, so sale date is kind of a mystery right now. And then have an update for Game Changers by the end of this month. We're still gonna announce, okay, we are most likely going on sale in this month, and it will be this amount of dollars.
Yeah, right now we're hunting for artists. Like the artist selection process for such a long series can be kind of hard because you need to find somebody that has the availability and the skill and the desire to work on such a long project.
Danielle and I kind of planned like what we think we'll be doing as our special edition sets outside the box for 2027, but nothing is like 100% final yet. So
This is going to sound weird, but like, I mean, I'm very passionate about small creators. But the reason I love getting such a big series like the Games Changers books or the Nico D'Angelo books is because that not only are they great series, of course, but that also brings people to us that don't know about us. And that gets more exposure to the authors we publish that haven't gotten that, big publisher treatment before. So like we get more eyes on all the wonderful people that write for us that just haven't had, that wide of a distribution, which is really cool to me.
For sure. I've discovered new authors. The Dragon Falls book, I think I ended up asking someone, I'm like, is this like an original
Oh,
thing?
yeah.
Yeah.
I love seeing which ones turn out to be popular too. Like every book we publish is good, of course, but what strikes a chord in readers, you can't always predict.
Mm-hmm.
it's been really interesting seeing like the numbers for some of them. Especially ones that like you didn't think were gonna sell and they sell like a wild amount and you're like, wait, what?
And then of course it's the other way around where I'm like, this book is so good, I love it, it's one of my favorites, but like everybody please enjoy it, and they're just not there for it. I'm like, please give it a chance, it's so good.
They will all have their day in the sun to shine. It just takes a little bit longer for some other than others.
Yeah, sometimes it comes many years later when, the right influencer or somebody, hits on it and suddenly everybody wants to read it. So
Word of mouth really goes a long way.
It really does.
bigger than anything these days for our like niche anyways.
Well, this has been awesome. I really enjoyed chatting with you guys and getting kind of the behind the scenes bits. Where can listeners find out more about you? I know you said you're kind of everywhere right now. Where's the best place to find you?
I would say Instagram. That is definitely like the main platform. Right now, our handle is Rainbow Crate Book Box. Maybe one day it will just be Rainbow Crate if the other person gives up that handle, but that is it. We have a broadcast channel on Instagram as well, and so all of our like big announcements go in there. I also try to like leave hints and stuff sometimes ahead of time. So if you're in the broadcast channel, you'll get like behind the scenes first notification of stuff. And then we also do have a Discord, which is sort of active. Half the time I forget it exists.
Sort of active.
Yeah, I usually get at least like the big announcements in there. It will get more active once I clean it up because I gotta do some stuff for that. And then, like, of course, our website. So our website has everything on it.
And the mailing list too, for sure. Like everything will eventually come through the mailing list as far as releases go, at least. So it's definitely a good idea to sign up for that.
Especially if you don't have social media, then I would definitely say get on the newsletter.
And social media can kind of be weird with the algorithms sometimes. You're not guaranteed to see everything. But if you've got email, you will get every announcement, like main announcement we have.
And yours are pretty chill. They're not like super salesy, They're not like constantly. They're the right amount.
Thank you. I don't want us to be that company when you sign up and you get daily emails asking
Oh
for
God,
you to
no.
buy stuff. I'm like, that happens all the time. And I'm like, dude, I saw the first one. Just give me like 1 or 2 reminders during a long sale or something. Like, don't literally write me every single day.
We don't want to write that many emails.
That
Isn't that true?
that too.
Yeah. All right. Well, happy Pride Month, both of you. And I really appreciate you coming on. And thank you, dear listener, for listening to the Right Here, Right Queer podcast. This has been Noah Hawthorne.